This is Geek News Central. My name is Todd Cochran, coming to you from the new media production studio. The lead stories tonight are the FCC's urging the removal of TikTok as a national security risk from Apple and Android devices. Starlink is speeding up. Cruise robotaxis swarmed and blocked traffic. And robocallers have had a loophole closed. I want to welcome you to episode 1609 of the Geek News Central podcast for Thursday, June 30th. This show is sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com and listeners just like you. Great deals from GoDaddy can be found at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You can support this show today at geeknewscentral.com/insider. I want to give a warm welcome to all the new listeners of the show. Make sure you get over to geeknewscentral.com. And when you're over there, go ahead and get subscribed to our show. You want to get signed up for our chat room as well. Our chat room is available at geeknews.chat or on Discord. Those links are available in the show notes tonight. And of course, you can always contact me via email. That's a piece of cake, geeknews@gmail.com or at geeknews on Twitter. Of course, you can follow me on Facebook as well. Partner shows, they're all linked to geeknewscentral.com. Definitely go over to the website. You'll find those links right at the top of the website, whether it be the new media show, the Pro Gear site, the Gadget Professor with Mr. Don Bain, or even the GNC Week in Review done by Kirk and Scott. Definitely get signed up for those shows. That's the way to stay connected with the podcast. Yes, indeed. And we'll definitely have lots of great content from those shows for you on the way through the rest of the summer. Of course, we want you to make sure you take care of our sponsors well. Our sponsor is the longest running continuous sponsor of our podcast. That's our good friends at GoDaddy. You can save a lot of money on GoDaddy promo codes. All my promo codes are available for you to use, whether it be $1.99 a month, economy hosting for the first year with a free domain, or $2.99 a month managed WordPress hosting for the first year with a free domain. Or $4.99.com for newer transfers, for new customers only, or 30% off new product purchases as well. Again, a free trial of GoDaddy website builder is available as well. Your choice of personal business or business plans. So again, get over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy to save. We want you to use those promo codes. It's most important when you do. It allows us to continue to do what we do, but the main thing is to go over there and sign up for a GoDaddy product or service. And I must admit, we got a report from GoDaddy. You guys knocked it out of the ballpark in June. I want to thank all of you very much for the support of the sponsor. We had a great month of June. Some of you are taking my advice. You're worried about the economy. You're worried about things that may be changing in the world, and you took my advice. A lot of you signed up for hosting accounts this month. So again, congratulations to those of you that took the advantage. And again, go over to geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. Yes, some of you live are seeing a little bit different layout tonight for the video. I am experimenting just a little bit. So more to come on this. I'm using some of the features of the Tricaster that I've never used before. So I think you're going to find, as I learn to do things a lot differently within the Tricaster, I think you're going to find the content getting a little more, I guess, a little more interactive. And we'll see how it all works out. But again, just doing experiments on some initial stuff that I'm testing. But definitely going to be looking for some assistance for some of you. We're going to try to boost the YouTube numbers some. And this is part of the change for that we also implemented over on the new media show. Well, about the time many of you are listening to this, the Podcast Award nominations will be open. We're turning things live very close to midnight tonight. And you'll have 30 days to vote for your favorite shows. So again, you've got 30 days to go in there and make your selections. That all, again, starts tomorrow, July 1st, Friday, July 1st. And we're really excited about this year's candidates of shows. Definitely got a long 4th of July weekend ahead for many of us here in the United States. I'm sure a lot of people will be kicking off early on Friday, but the holidays on Monday. So there will be no show here on the 4th of July. I'm not going to be doing a show, obviously, but I'll be back with you next week, Thursday, for the regular podcast. And again, I just want to say a shout out to Michael Dare. Hey, Michael, I got a friend requested you on Facebook today, but I'm already your friend. So looks like someone may have hacked your account. So go check that out, my friend. I did report the listing, just so you know. It's really sad when I see that happen, but it happens to all of us where someone tries to duplicate our profiles and then trick us into following them. But I saw that this afternoon. Got a great show lined up for you tonight. Lots of great content, some very interesting discussion points. And wow, the first one is TikTok. The FCC is urging Google and Apple to remove TikTok over national security concerns. The last time TikTok faced scrutiny was in 2019. So this is big. The commissioner, Brendan, and remember, who is in charge of the FCC right now? It's not Republicans anymore. All right, it's not. They have some representation, but this is very obvious here. We've got a bipartisan group of people that are saying once again TikTok is collecting information they should not. The Commissioner Brendan Carr shared his letter to Apple CEO Tim Cook and Google CEO Sundar Pichai. Concerns were raised about TikTok's Chinese ownership, adding that it harvests swaths of sensitive data that new report shows is being accessed by Beijing. So they say TikTok is not just another video app that's the sheep's clothing. And BuzzFeed News recently revealed in a report that Beijing-based employees of TikTok's parent company ByteDance were able to access private information on U.S. users on multiple occasions. It's clear that TikTok possesses an unacceptable national security risk due to its extensive data being combined with Beijing's apparently unchecked access to the data. But it's clear that TikTok's pattern of conduct and misrepresentation regarding unfettered access that persons in Beijing have sent to sensitive U.S. user data puts it out of compliance with policies that both your companies require every app to adhere to as conditions of remaining available on your app store. The Washington Post reported TikTok declined to comment, but directed the publication of previous comments where the company stated it would gladly engage with lawmakers to set the record straight. Recent reporting by BuzzFeed shows that TikTok is doing exactly what it said it would, addressing concerns around access to U.S. user data by employees outside the U.S. They say we've been clear and vocal about our work in this area as we seek to address both location and access to data. We're pleased that we now route 100% of U.S. user traffic to Oracle Cloud infrastructure, and we are continuing to work on additional safeguards in the United States for improved peace of mind of our community. So, which way is it? And do you think Google or Android is going to do anything about it? Therein lies the question, right? I guess we'll see. It's being reported by being reported by CNET through Ookla, O-O-K-L-A, and those of you who are familiar with that, they do speed test, that SpaceX Starlink satellite broadband is speeding up. So they say now that Elon Musk rocket company has launched more than 2,000 flying routers. Appears that investment is paying off. Internet speed test outfit reported on Tuesday that Starlink has raced further ahead of the competition, recording the fastest median satellite broadband speeds in most places it's offered, and even outpacing, listen to this, the median speed of terrestrial fixed broadband services in Mexico, Australia, New Zealand, and several European countries, including rural America. Do not forget that. Starlink is available in at least 32 countries around the world, giving it significant advantage over competitors like Amazon's Project Zuper. Or how do you pronounce it? Kuiper, Q-U-I-P-E-R. So one thing that I will say here is that I got a letter, email from Starlink a couple of days ago asking me to sign a petition. It appears that a certain television provider that has satellites up in the air has some spectrum they have not used but own, and they are trying now to ramp that up and get some additional licensing. It doesn't bode well. SpaceX is saying that Starlink speeds could be impacted dramatically if that particular provider is going to turn that on. And basically what they promised to use that for was 5G phone service from space. It's a very, very interesting move here, but they have a compelling case. We'll see what happens with this, but potentially the frequency Starlink's using is at risk. A swarm, yes, I'm saying a swarm of cruise robo-taxis block San Francisco traffic for hours. The GM subsidiary launches commercial driverless service earlier this month. So a small fleet of cruise robo-taxis suddenly stopped operating on Tuesday, effectively stopping traffic on street in the city's Fillmore district for a couple of hours until employees were able to arrive. So apparently there was a bunch of stalled driverless cabs at the corner of Go and Fulton Streets. The rides feature no human safety driver and geo-restricted to certain streets and can only operate in the late evening hours. This is the wording they use. They apologized for the incident, but gave a little explanation for what caused the mishap. We had an issue earlier this week that caused some of our vehicles to cluster. I can't believe they used that word, cluster together. While it was resolved, no passengers were impacted. We apologize to anyone who was inconvenienced. So, why? Why do these robo-taxis just kind of hang out? Doesn't it make you go, Does it make you go, are they being taken over? Were they hacked? What really happened here? Therein lies the question. So, what say you? What do you think happened with these robo-taxis? Or it was just a glitch in the matrix? That is the question. The FCC says it's closed a loophole that many robocallers use to evade blocking. Starting today, small carriers must use stir/shaken caller ID authentication tech. The Federal Communication has given these folks a bit of a pass, but large voice providers were required to implement stir/shaken a year ago. But there was an exemption for carriers with 100,000 or fewer carrier customers that would have given those smaller companies until June 30th, 2023 to comply. The FCC voted in December to move that deadline up to June 30th today because small phone companies were apparently carrying a large percentage of illegal robocalls. So starting today, certain small phone companies must comply with the FCC rules to implement caller ID authentication tools on their networks, just as large voice services are required to since June 30th of 2021. And robocallers have been relied on more smaller companies to get past what they've been doing. So I've noticed that my robocalls are down a little bit. In matter of fact, I've had so many in the past. It really changed the way I was using my cell phone. If I don't see a caller ID come through on a call, I don't answer it. It can go to voicemail. And I think if you're in business or working with someone, you should have a caller ID that shows up on a phone so that we know who's calling. Otherwise, I'm going to let you go to voicemail. I'm just not going to pick up the phone. I really not. NASA says they can grow food in space without soil. So we know that dirt is dirty. And dirt causes all kinds of issues when it's, if you've ever had a greenhouse, things get pretty messy. Well, you can imagine that's complicated in space where you want things to remain very, very clean. So the best way to go and be able to explore other places is to have fresh fruit and so forth. Well, it appears that this experiment Flight engineer Jessica Watkins started to harvest radishes and Mizuna greens aboard the International Space Station, and they were grown without any soil whatsoever. The experiment is part of the X-Root space gardening study that uses hydroponic and aerophonic techniques to grow edible plants. If successful in the long term, future crews can sustain themselves on spaceflight missions beyond low Earth orbit. Growing plants in space is always exciting since astronauts need them for both aesthetic and practical reason. NASA already knows that fresh flowers and gardens on the International Space Station create a beautiful atmosphere, allowing space travelers to take a little piece of home on their journey. They're also good for psychological well-being and critical for keeping astronauts healthy on long-duration missions, since multivitamins aren't enough to keep them in tip-top shape. So right now, NASA provides astronauts on the space station with regular shipments of various freeze-dried and prepackaged meals to cover their needs, but a resupply mission to keep them fresh through resupply missions. However, when these crews venture further in space, traveling for months or years without resupply, the vitamins in prepackaged form break down over time. Wow. This leads to a deterioration in the astronaut's overall health. So, developed by private company Sierra Space, NASA Experiment X-Roots project isn't quite ready to feed the entire space station, and we're just still waiting for the completely culinary review of the off-planet veggies. But since its launch back in February, and seeing that there were a few more weeks left, space enthusiasts are looking forward to any other crops and discoveries the trial might yield. And they grew these from seeds, so that's an interesting move here. So, congratulations on NASA on having a good, successful experiment so far. Also, PC World has a great article on the best laptops for kids, best overall, best battery life, and more. Link will be up in the show notes on that. I'm not going to go into this. And also, always be aware that sometimes these reviews do cover devices that may have gotten a sponsored pitch. Not saying that's the case on PC World, but, do your own research as much as possible. Moving on here, Amazon. Listen to this. Amazon is introducing, oh my gosh, I can't even speak. Amazon is introducing new tech to monitor shoppers in its grocery stores and share data with advertisers. So this should not come as a surprise, but Amazon has new data tracking in its physical grocery stores to mine data on shoppers' habits. And the company announced in its store analytics, which will offer brands aggregated data in a blog post. It includes logs on how many shoppers put a product back instead of purchasing it in store. They've launched new data tracking for its physical grocery stores to mine this data. Store Insights rolled out to all Amazon Go and Amazon Fresh stores with the Dash Cart or Just Walk Out technology in the United States. Individual or disaggregated data will not be shared, according to Amazon, and customers will be able to opt out of the service on the Store Insights website. Data tracked by the site will include how often products are taken off the shelves and then subsequently purchased, either during the same store visit or later on Amazon's website. We know that Amazon cashierless stores themselves operate through a complex system of shopper surveillance, including AI-powered cameras that follow shoppers and weight sensors on carts. Amazon has made major investments in its cashierless stores in the U.S. and has plans for global expansion. But Amazon, of course, has come against privacy scandals in the past. The companies deliver advanced surveillance cameras, closely monitor workers, down to their hand movements and facial expressions, which made some workers feel paranoid. So, interesting move by the team at Amazon. The president calls on the FTC to protect abortion seekers' data privacy. He's also supporting a filibuster caveat to codify Roe versus Wade. And he's asked the FTC to protect consumers' data privacy. Biden's request expect to come in the way of a letter to the FTC asking the agency to protect the privacy of women and birthing parents online. Specifically, Axios reported that Biden will say the FTC should not tolerate unfair, deceptive practices related to reporting, surveillance, sharing, or sale of personal information, including sensitive health-related information in any state. What about it goes both ways, because I've had throughout the 4 children that I raised, I've had issues with privacy and companies collecting stuff on us when we were pregnant and not announcing it. So this is interesting. Data brokers profit from the location data of millions of people, and this data is used to market to us. They say, see where you go, what you do. It's a big deal. Ars Technica is reporting Amazon is blocking LGBTQ products in the UAE. Says it must comply with local laws. UAE, which bans same-sex relations, ordered Amazon to block products and searches. So what are they restricting? So Amazon restricted products team remove individual products listing. A team that managed the company says hid results from more than 150 keywords. The New York Times wrote, search for terms such as LGBTQ, pride, closeted gay, transgender flag, queer brooch, and chest binder for lesbians now turn up 0 results in the UAE. Remove products including books such as My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, Gender Queer, a memoir by Maja Kogabi, Bad Feminist by Roxanne Gay. Amazon says we must comply with local laws. As a U.S. State Department travel advisory says, consensual same-sex sexual sexual relations are criminalized in the UAE and a lot of other Arab countries, with potential punishments including fines and imprisonment. Under interpretation Sharia, the punishment include death. The United States State Department says, although U.S. embassies and U.S. consulate generals are not aware of any recent arrests or prosecutions, they remain illegal. Cross-dressing is also a punishable offense, and there have been reports that the government took action against cross-dressing individuals. So be careful in the countries that you travel, okay? Be aware. They don't care that you're an American at all. Moving on, now, now Comcast Xfinity Stream app with live TV and DVR content is available on Apple TV. So you can add that as an app. Comcast TV joins Apple TV in providing an app for that. So if you're a Comcast Xfinity streamer, you can get access to it with Apple TV. Meta, this is an interesting warning. Meta warns employees of serious times in internal memo listing key product bets. Meta's warning of serious times and preparing for a leaner second half of 22, according to an internal memo circulated to employees. The note comes to Chief Product Officer Chris Cox and outlines the company's priorities and challenges to its business going forward. He says, I have to underscore that we are in serious times here and the headwinds are fierce. Cox wrote the memo obtained by The Verge and published in full below. We need to execute flawlessly in an environment of slower growth where teams should not expect vast influxes of new engineers and budgets. The biggest revenue challenges come from privacy changes affecting Meta's ad business and macroeconomic pressures. Cox says in the memo, which first reported by Reuters, Cox says monetizing Reels, the company's short-form TikTok copy, as quickly as possible is a key priority. So they're worried. They're worried. They know what's coming, ladies and gentlemen. This is why I'm telling you, prepare now. Get your alternate business going. T-Mobile 5G home internet reaches 5 million new addresses in the middle of the country. The Un-carrier needs to pick up the pace to meet its 2025 goal. T-Mobile has announced that its 5G home internet service is now available in more cities spanning parts of Colorado, Oklahoma, Missouri, Iowa, and Kansas. The service now covers more than 40 million homes, and earlier this spring, the company said it signed up its 1 millionth customer. But T-Mobile has some real work to do if it plans to meet its goal of 7 to 8 million customers by 2025. Providing fixed wireless internet to a broad portion of the nation was a big selling point in T-Mobile's case, the FCC, when it argued to be allowed to acquire Sprint. The gist of the whole deal was that we lose one of our 4 wireless carriers temporarily while T-Mobile absorbed Sprint. And Dish Network's got its 5G service off the ground, which is the issue that's going on right now with Dish and this 12 gigahertz bandwidth. At the same time, we'd be gaining a home internet service as T-Mobile would use some of Sprint's spectrum to offer fixed wireless internet. Well, not to rural America. They're not. Gartner predicts 9.5% drop in PC shipments, stark contrast to 11% increases year over year in 2021. The party is over. According to analysts, the worldwide PC shipments will decline, with consumer demand leading the way. A 13.5% drop is forecast, far greater than the business PC demand, which is expected to drop by 7.2%. The PC market in the EMEA region is forecast to far even worse, with a 14% decline on the cards. Gartner points the finger to blame at uncertainty caused by conflicts, price increases, and simple unavailability of products. Lockdowns in China are also blamed for an impact in consumer demand. So we will see where this goes. Stand by. YouTube introduces new tools to battle comment, spam, and account imitators. Well, we don't have a big enough following here to make that happen. Channels will no longer be able to hide their subscriber counts. And this is one way, if you land on a channel of someone that's faking it till they make it, and the fake is stolen material, you'll see that it's a small channel, maybe not the channel you're supposed to, along with additional content, spam, things that you're able to implement. So as of July 29th, channels won't be able to hide their subscriber counts. YouTube acknowledged that some creators prefer to hide their subscriber count while they're building up an audience. However, it says this move will make things safer for everyone. Speaking of phony channels that use special characters to imitate more prominent creators, that strategy will soon be less effective. YouTube says it's reducing the character set that people can use when updating a channel name. It said that bad characters won't be able to modify their name to like yen, the yen sign for Y, or the T for trademark, or such and so forth. So we'll see what happens with this as time goes on. Apple plan to let you pay for gas using CarPlay. So they have a big update slated for sometime later this summer. But in the meantime, the tech giant's begun working with partners to support a new feature that will let users pay for gas directly inside the company's infotainment system. While the ability to purchase fuel using CarPlay was first revealed during developer session WWDC earlier this month, it didn't get a ton of attention. Reuters has been told that more specific details will be released in the coming months. Who are the partners? Did they say? I guess not, but I guess they're going to look at probably where we all buy gas and talk with those folks. So time will tell where that leads. Chrome Password Manager update will let you manually add credentials on all platforms. What does that mean? A simplified and unified management experience is also on the way. So you can basically put the login, you basically put the domain name, your username and password in the Chrome Password Manager. So this is basically able to manually add a password instead of just being prompted for it like the app does now. So, and then you'll be able to use a saved password. I continue to be a big fan of LastPass. I really, really do. NASA needs help. They need help from the private sector to decarbonize the next generation of planes. Yes, you heard that correctly. The partnership will provide funding and access to NASA facilities. Air travel remains one of the largest contributors to global warming, quote unquote, producing 950 million tons of CO2 worldwide. In an effort to usher in a more sustainable era of flight, NASA announced Thursday it's seeking partners to develop technologies needed to shape a new generation of lower emission single aisle airliners that passengers could see in airports by 2030. So let me repeat that. Single aisle airliners. That means small airplanes. NASA is looking to fund the design, building, and testing flying of large-scale demonstrators as part of its announcement for partnership proposal. You know, it makes me curious. You know, when you're dealing with Jet Motors, I don't know how you really achieve that without going electric. But then how do you get enough batteries into a platform to be able to make that happen? I don't know. I really, really don't. So we'll see. California State Gun Control website exposes 10 years of personal data, and some of it may have been leaked on social media. A California state website exposed the personal details of anyone who applied for a concealed carry permit between 2011 and 2021. According to California Department of Justice, the blunder happened earlier this week when the U.S. state's firearm dashboard portal was overhauled. In addition to that portal, data was exposed in several other online dashboards providing the state, including assault weapons registry, handgun certified for sale, dealer record of sale, firearm safety certificate, and gun violence restraining order dashboard. The California DOJ noted the dashboards and data were available to the public for less than 24 hours. The information exploded, including names, dates, birth, gender, race, driver's license number, addresses, and criminal histories. It did not, however, expose social security numbers and financial information, according to the West Coast state. Still, some of the private information may have been posted on social media websites, according to the Fresno County Sheriff's Office, which initially disclosed the data leak. The state says it will notify Californians whose data was exposed. So, here we go again. Very convenient. Boring company Underground Loop now runs to the Las Vegas Strip. Why walk less than a mile when you can spend $47 million digging that distance instead? Well, Elon Musk did. The walk from Las Vegas Convention Center to Tacos El Gordo may only be 0.7 of a mile, but under the blazing sun of a Nevada sun, the trip may seem like an entirety. Lucky for us, Al Pastor's enthusiasts, this traditional CES taco trek is now far more convenient as the Boring Company and Resorts World Las Vegas announced the official opening of the latest loop station at the Las Vegas Convention Center. This spur of the Boring Company's existing loop network, which runs underneath the north and south halls of LVCC, connects the convention center directly to a sister station underneath the World Resorts property on the other side of the South Las Vegas Boulevard. Boring experts the trips between the two to take just a few minutes, and plans to eventually expand the underground vehicle network to more than 55 stops along the strip. And what happens is they got people driving Teslas down in that tunnel. It's kind of interesting. A cyber attack is impacting unemployment benefits in several states. Some states' job-seeking sites are also inaccessible after an attack on a vendor. So this continues to happen. A third-party vendor has been impacted. Employment service, including unemployment benefits in several states, have been impacted. Tennessee and Nebraska. They say we recently identified anomalous activity in our network and immediately took Tennessee Jobs 410 system offline to halt the activity with the help of third-party specialists. We're conducting a full investigation to determine the cause and scope of the incident. We're working around the clock to bring Jobs 410 back online. This full scope of the cyber attack is not clear. Geographic Solutions claims to have clients in more than 35 states and territories. As noted by State Scoop, the Louisiana Workforce Commission said on Wednesday its hire website is offline. The attack is impacting as many as 40 other states. And Washington, D.C., Geographic Solutions website is also down. Wow. The situation could cynic offend those who depend on unemployment benefits or having problems accessing them. Around 12,000 people rely on such benefits in Tennessee, but the AP reports that they are not receiving payments. The Nebraska Department of Labor expects its unemployment service site to remain offline through at least Friday. Individuals cannot file for unemployment until the system is back online. I think we're going to hear more about this. I think this is probably going to turn ugly before it turns better. Bitcoin has fallen below $19,000 again as pressure mounts on crypto firms. Investors are also worried about rampant inflation, which is forcing global central banks to raise interest rates and sparking fears of recession. Meanwhile, major crypto hedge fund 3 Arrow Capital fell into liquidation, adding further woes to the market. So here we go. Bitcoin might be very affordable here. Bitcoin was last trading 5.7% lower at $18,978, according to Coin Metrics. Bitcoin continues to be under pressure as other assets are. So global stock market remains under pressure with the S&P 500 failing to end its worst first half of the year since 1970. And of course, liquidity issues are hitting when people are trying to cash out and get their money. CoinFlex paused withdrawals, $47 million. Unaccessible. Can't sell if you want to. Does not bear well. So, what do you buy the elderly for tech gifts? Well, the folks over at makeuseof.com, which we've had good results from before, have got a couple of suggestions. The Google Pixel 6, the Meta Portal Plus, don't even know what that is, the Amazon Echo Dot, the Ring Video Doorbell, and the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite. I think elderly, do they really need some of these high-tech toys? Maybe the Amazon Kindle Paperwhite and maybe the Ring Video Doorbell so they don't have to go up to see who's there. But, of course, they're going to need a phone to be able to see that. The Meta Portal Plus allows you to talk to 3 or 4 people at one time. So maybe that as well. I don't know. But link will be up in the show notes. You can check it out. Major League Baseball wants to deploy strike zone robo umpires. We have automated strike zone system that works, Commissioner Rob Manfred said. Now that nothing is sacred. Major League Baseball will likely introduce an automated strike zone system starting in 2024. The so-called robot umpires may call all balls and strikes, then relay the information to a plate umpire or be part of a replay review system, allows managers to challenge calls. We have an automated strike zone system that works. The comments come in the wake of fan outrage over umpires' missed calls in recent games, including a brutal low strike era during the Detroit Tigers and Minnesota Twins game. Enough is enough. Give me robo umps already, tweeted Grand Rapids ABC sports director Jamal Spencer. So, what do you think? What do you think? You want your baseball to be umpired by a sensor? I don't know. What say you? Tesla has laid off 200 autopilot employees. Employees were in charge of labeling data for training neural networks, Bloomberg reports. These are largely hourly employees, data analysis. People are doing data entry. They say many of the employees in laid off are data annotation specialists, which entails labeling data coming from Tesla customer fleet before feeding that data into a neural network meant to improve object recognition, the automaker's autopilot, and full self-driving beta driver assistant suites. Tesla also operates a data labeling team at Buffalo, New York, and Bloomberg source noted the outlet that the Buffalo team hourly pay rate is lower than that in San Mateo. Well, we'll see. But it's when companies got to cut, they have to cut. If you have a Paramount Plus, what's new in July? Well, we've got the list. The link will be up in the show notes for you to check out. SkyMed, The Only, South Park, Blood and Treasure, The Day the Music Died, American Pie, Never Seen Again. So a lot of these are spread throughout the entire month with a whole stack coming on July 1st. So a link will be up in the show notes for you to check out. Facebook Groups gets facelift with new dedicated channels. Meta describes the subgroup as more focused spaces for people to connect in smaller, more casual settings. And so this is interesting. It described as focus spaces. Group admins can create channels for chat, audio, or posts, allowing them to have deeper discussions on common interests, organize their communities around topics in different formats. Community chat channels would allow the conversation across Facebook groups and Messenger and can be set as open or invite only, while audio channels let admins and members jump in and out of audio conversations in real time, similar to Discord. Unlike the one-off audio component that exists in rooms, the audio channel in groups would be a dedicated ongoing space. A member can also turn on their cameras if they choose. So they're trying to compete with Twitter and all these other platforms that have like Clubhouse type things going on. So you can find out if you're owed part of the $90 million Facebook class action lawsuit. The social media giant is accused of tracking users on other sites. So more than a decade after Facebook was accused in a lawsuit of tracking them, California has given preliminary approval for a $90 million class action lawsuit. Facebook users in the United States who between April 22, 2010 and September 25, 2011 visit other sites to display Facebook-like buttons may be eligible for a portion of the settlement if it receives final approval. So you get a whole 32 cents or 22 cents, and it will come in a check form that you'll have less than 90 days to cash. That's how those things work. It's just the class act. The only people that get rich in class action lawsuits are the lawyers. So I got an email from Ron. He showed me his where he's using the moon globe, and he's got it set on his table next to his TV. So Ron, thanks for the update. We appreciate where you put it, and thanks for the follow up. All right, we're going to bring this to an end. I've gotten to the end of the show. And for those of you who are watching the video, how was the new flip-flop? Did you like it? geeknews@gmail is the email address, @geeknews on Twitter. We definitely want you to follow the show. Thank you. Again, thank you for your support of the sponsor. For those of you that are insiders, I truly, truly appreciate your ongoing contributions to the show, and thank you for your support. Those of you that picked up GoDaddy or product services in June, my applause to you. Thank you so much for making that happen. And July, another month where we're on the new trek. But I'll be back with you basically a week from today, because July 4th is a holiday here in the United States. It's our Independence Day. So we are going to probably barbecue, maybe have a few cool ones, who knows? But I do thank you all for coming and hanging out with me today. If you're not already, get over to the website at geeknewscentral.com. I want you to follow or subscribe to the show. You can do that real easy on the website. Get signed up for our newsletter as well. That link is on the show on the website as well. So if I can do this right, let's see if I've got, it's a little weird what's going on here with the way things are set up. So I don't think, maybe I can. Let me see if I can do this. Don't think so. I don't think I'm set up correctly. So everyone, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time here on the Geek News Central podcast. Everyone, take care. Bye-bye.